Welcome to a new series entitled Pull the Curtain Stories from the Show. Each video in this series, I will give a background to each of the Chicago concerts I've been to, starting from oldest to most recent. In every video, I'll go down bullet points and discuss each until I reach the conclusion of the video. So let's begin with episode 5. Location. This was in the Cedar Park Center up in Cedar Park, Texas. And you may ask yourself, where is Cedar Park, Texas? Well, it is a suburb of Austin, Texas, capital of Texas, where I live and have been living for the past 10, 15 years. Seems like a long time now, thinking back on it. This concert was in 2014, and the the Cedar Park Center, which now goes by a different name, but back then it opened its doors in 2009, 2010, and its main purpose was for the minor league hockey team of the Dallas Stars, and the team's name is the Texas Stars. So that's how I got into going to that arena, to that stadium. I guess arena, because it's more of an arena than a stadium, but its acoustics are amazingly great, believe it or not, for a stadium. It's not that big of a stadium, or they call it a center, because certain stadiums have multiple bowls or levels that I guess I call them bowls, but they're levels, and maybe the bottom level, the mid tier level, and then the upper decks. This one only has just the bottom levels, which is pretty cool, which you'll see in these photos that I'll be displaying here shortly. But um, it's an amazing place to go and either watch a concert, because you're anywhere you sit, literally you are kind of up close. Thankfully for us, and I say us, which I'll talk more about shortly. But the seats that I guess going on to the next section, seats and fans. The seats that we got, and by we I mean my sister, who was in town and came to join me. And originally it was supposed to be my mom at the concert, but I guess she could not make it into town. She had another engagement that she had to do for work, if I remember correctly. But this was back in 2014, so it's been 8 years, and a lot of things have happened in 8 years that I don't remember. But we so it was my sister, and then I asked a coworker, who's a musician, and he plays the guitar, and he plays in his own band, and he's a lead singer. And I don't think he had ever seen Chicago live. And with this concert, Chicago shared the stage with REO Speedwagon. So you had the greatest hits from both Chicago and REO Speedwagon, each of them doing their own sets. And at the end of Chicago's set, which was the second set, they both came on stage and together played their greatest hits, which was an awesome collaboration. So this concert was a first for a couple of reasons. Um, it was the first time that I'd ever seen a concert in the Cedar Park Center, and it was the first concert that I did not go by myself. So I had family, and I had a co-worker friend at the time go, and you know moving forward a little bit, at the end of the concert, driving home, he said that he was impressed with Chicago because, growing up, he had heard some of their hits, mostly from the 80s, but he was really impressed and loved the 70s stuff, I think probably more than the 80s. And REO Speedwagon was phenomenal as well. I mean, Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore, that's one of their greatest hits. And just to name a few. I mean, that's one I can remember right now off the top of my head. But they played well. I believe, if I remember correctly, the singer, the main singer, who of REO Speedwagon. He had either broken his leg or twisted his ankle or something, but I think he had like a cast on his foot, and maybe he was on crutches too, which was amazing. I wish I had taken photos of that, which I didn't, but he was injured, but he was still out there on the stage singing and rocking like nothing ever happened. But it was great to see those guys and to share Chicago with my sister. This would be her first concert, her Chicago. This would be her first Chicago concert, but not her last. And sharing it with my coworker, who's a rocker and guitar player and stuff. So that was cool. And I think that night was the first night that I ever, and I wasn't drinking, believe it or not. There was no liquid courage involved, or in the rock and roll business, there was no liquid courage or drugs involved. But through this concert, I found myself standing up and clapping along and singing along. And I do remember looking over to my sister and to my friend, they both looking at me, and then other people in the rows in front of me, I think, were looking back. It was like, I'm standing up here and clapping and singing along too, so don't mind me. And they didn't mind it, and I wasn't told to sit down, or no one pulled my arm down to get me to sit down. So we were all standing up, and for the most part, most of us were standing up and singing along and clapping and just enjoying the concert. And like I said earlier, both bands were there, Chicago's and REO Speedwagon. REO Speedwagon went on first. They did about a 50-minute to an hour and 10-minute set. And Chicago went on second. And they had to, of course, cut down their set list from 2.5 hours to about an hour. And that included most of the hits from the 70s, some from the 80s, and I believe at that time they even played one of their hits from Chicago 30, which was their new album at that time. I don't remember which song it was, but I might have. I know on the channel I have recorded some of the concerts. Actually, all the concerts I've been to, I've recorded some of the music that they were playing and cut that up into little splices and made videos. So maybe I captured it there, but I don't remember. But like I said, REO Speedwagon first, Chicago second. REO Speedwagon came back out, and they both did a collaboration of their greatest hits, and that sounded pretty awesome. And like I said, the REO Speedwagon, what's it called? Lead singer. Of course, unfortunately, he got injured, and he was, on crutches or with a cast on his leg. But the last part is memorabilia, and like I talk about in every pull the curtain video, is I always keep certain items from the shows as memorabilia. And of course, I kept the ticket stub, although it wasn't really a ticket stub. It's more like a printout of the ticket. But it shows where we were on the floor. It shows what date it was back in 2014, and the time. And with these concerts, they never really are on a weekend. It's always during the middle of the week. So we had to go during the middle of the week and then go back to work the next day, which kind of sucked. But when I go, I make it work. Like I think I told you back in the very first time I went to the Chicago concert, went to Houston, and then drove an hour and a half out of Houston, and then back to Houston, and then 4 a.m. drove back to work. So when it comes to going to see Chicago, I'm willing to do a lot of crazy things to go see a concert. And finally, the last part of the memorabilia was the T-shirt. This T-shirt was pretty cool, and it still sort of looks like it was before. I haven't worn this as much as I'd like to, but the front of the T-shirt has the emblem, I guess, of the flag of the city of Chicago with the 4 stars. and with the red stars with the blue stripes and the white, and that looks, I like that because it looks exactly like the city flag, and the back has some of the tour dates or tour locations, but you'll see that in some of the pictures. So again, thank you for listening.